We go. Hey, everybody, this is Mac with Veterans Achieve Business Systems. Um, Thanks for joining us today on the episode. Um, I always give our speaker a hard time. Maggie Waide, she's a cybersecurity specialist, but I give her a hard time because I'm so proud of her. When I first met her, not quite 2 years ago, we were down in Pueblo and I said hello to her. And I thought she was going to go running out of the room like I was Godzilla. Um, Maggie has come so far, including stepping up and being our featured speaker. One of the things that I've noticed about Maggie, and I've tried to guide her because I always try to understand what people are saying to me. And sometimes people are so educated, such geniuses, that they talk in a language that the people they're trying to reach don't understand. And as I've watched Maggie for the last year and a half, she's worked on this, trying to make me feel like I'm somewhat competent in understanding her words about cybersecurity. That the cybersecurity thing, we've all had to deal with it in one area or another. It's like every week I buy 17 iPhones and all the different stuff. I had something the other day. Um, where I got a notice from PayPal and somebody had deposited 1 cent into my account. But then they made a monthly request for $897 a month. And I did not click on the link, Maggie. Thank you very much. Uh, but I called PayPal and they said that they'd been seeing these guys. It was somebody, Kennedy Manning or something was the name that they use, and supposedly out of Missouri. But between Maggie and several others, Todd, obviously, I work with, he does a lot of my email and IT stuff, that they have instructed me to pay attention. If something looks phony, there's no reason to click on the link, go through another source. And Maggie, I'm going to turn this over to you because I hope what you'll do for all of us, and then for those that are watching the recording, either on the Veterans Achieve Business Systems YouTube channel or the Achieve Systems uh, uh, channel, where Steve Mesh actually cuts up these recordings and turns them into 4 or 5 minute short reels. I hope that it becomes very valuable for all of us and we all remain safe. And uh, the little I know about cybersecurity, if I get hacked, then it's very possible that you guys are going to get hacked because you do something with me. So, Maggie, tell me where I'm right, where I'm wrong, and what I should or should not be doing. Maggie,
Yes.
are you there?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was muted.
Nah.
Uh, well, let's start with this. If someone wanted to learn everything they could about you in the next 15 minutes, how much could they discover online? Would they be able to learn your date of birth, where you were born, your marital status, where you live? How about the name of key family members, or even where you are on vacation? Would it surprise you to know 96% of American adults are online and only about 1 out of 5 use privacy settings? Your online presence is like the great frontier. It is vast, open, full of wildlife, and let's not forget that rickety old outhouse with no privacy and splinters waiting to happen. Today, we are going to cover how you can protect your delicate yet valuable digital asset while online. I am going to focus today on social media and ways cyber criminals can obtain vital information just from your profile and what you post. Let's be clear. Social media is a wonderful tool. It allows us to stay connected with family and friends, meet new people, promote our businesses, and share important moments with our community. However, cyber criminals don't always need to hack into your laptop to learn about us. We knowingly give them the information they need through our social media posts. We post about our birthdays, and others wish us happy birthday. Now the criminal knows our date of birth. Our profile shows if we are married or single. Now the criminal knows our marital status. We post photos of our children, spouse, and parents. Now the criminal has our key family members. We love to post about our pets, their names, and even where they go to pet daycare. Now the criminal knows all that information. Some of us actually post when we are on vacation or traveling, telling the criminal no one is home. These criminals are the outlaws of this frontier. These outlaws collect pieces of information to create your profile, information like your date of birth, where you were born, where you live, spouse's name, pet's name, where you just traveled. And alone, each detail may seem harmless, but together create a larger picture of you. It is this information they use to figure out your passwords, answer any security questions, create convincing scams you will fall for, or pretend to be someone you know. Quick question. Have you ever gotten a friend's request from someone already in your friends list? Me too. That is the outlaw at work. That is why it is important to think carefully about the information we share on social media. I know this because I have spent decades working in cybersecurity and digital forensics, helping businesses, organizations, and individuals protect their digital lives, investigate cyber incidences, recover stolen identities, and uncover the digital evidence criminals leave behind. I have seen firsthand what happens when someone shares a little too much or clicks one link that looks completely legitimate. The reality is that today's outlaws are not just becoming smarter, they are becoming more convincing. They study human behavior, they build trust, they create emails, websites, text messages, and social media profiles that look authentic enough to fool almost anyone. The good news is you do not have to become a cybersecurity expert to make yourself a much harder target. Today, you are going to learn 3 strategies that you can begin using immediately to better protect yourself, your family, and your business on today's online frontier. The first thing you need to know is this: keep your campfire small. Your campfire in this case represents your social media circle. Every person sitting around it has your personal information and history. Not everyone asking to sit around your campfire has good intention, and not everyone deserves a seat at your campfire. The choice is yours: security or popularity. Side note, it's easier for the outlaw to find your campfire and create a plan of attack if your privacy settings on social media are set to the minimum. Let me introduce you to Jessie and Belle. Belle lives in a small town in Colorado. She is active on social media and loves to travel both land and sea. She loves to host large parties and share photos of her adorable dog who attends doggy daycare. Jessie found Belle's social media profile and became interested. He looks like this guy. He sent her a friend's request and she accepted it. Jessie started a conversation asking her about her dog. You know, we all love to share about our pets, so Belle felt comfortable and secure talking with him. During their conversation, Belle also shared that she will be taking a cruise soon. She said she can't wait to leave. Jessie can't wait either, but for a very different reason. By reviewing Belle's post and asking friendly questions, Jessie learned all the information he needed to rob her, and he did. Guys, this is a true story. Belle and Jessie are real people. However, the names have been changed to protect the guilty. This is why it is important to keep your campfire small. Do not share with the whole frontier. Avoid posting vacation plans before and during. And finally, check your privacy settings. The second strategy that you will learn today to protect yourself on the online frontier is do not leave a trail for outlaws. You have probably seen and maybe even answered social media posts that ask, what is your favorite color? What street did you grow up on? What was your first car? Or maybe you have been asked how long you have worked at your job, where you went to school, or the name of your first pet. Every answer leaves another footprint on the online frontier. Before answering a question or quiz like this, stop and ask yourself, who could use this information and could they use it against me? An outlaw may collect these small details and use them to steal our identity, breach our financial accounts, and even open loans in our name. Do not leave any trail for outlaws to follow. The last strategy for today is, well, the obvious: do not click the link. Many outlaws are going to use your trust in the fact that you are connected and hope you don't think you just click the link. The outlaws make these look realistic. You think you are dealing with the phone company, a service provider, or even your bank. And guess what? Once you click the link, you have now stepped into the outhouse and given yourself a splinter, well, where it just doesn't belong. This can happen to the best of us. Our dear friend Kathy Riley was shopping online for a medical device, and you know how they listen. The next time she was on social media, she ran across the device in an ad that looked real. She did not think twice and clicked the link, and guess what? It was not real. It came from another country without any way to return it, which at the end of the day was a big splinter in her backside that could have been a lot worse. So again, think before you click the link. Every day you make a choice. You can wander the online frontier hoping nothing bad happens, or you can prepare for it. The truth is that cyber criminals are counting on people being distracted. They are counting on us to overshare. They are counting on us to trust too quickly. They are counting on us to click the link before we think. Now, today, you know better. Today, you have learned how to keep your campfire small, how to stop leaving a trail for outlaws, and how to think before you click the link. These three simple strategies can make a tremendous difference in protecting your identity, your family, your business, and your reputation. But here is what I have learned after decades in cybersecurity and digital forensics. The businesses do not fail because they do not care about security. They fail because they assume they are protected until something happens. When attacks happen, the businesses that recover the fastest, that spend less in damages, and that avoid weeks of downtime are rarely the lucky ones. They are the protected, prepared ones. Research continues to show that organizations with proactive cybersecurity measures and tested response plans recover faster and experience experiential less financial loss than those who wait until after an attack. Prevention is not just avoiding the problem. It is about protecting your time, your money, your reputation, and your peace of mind. That is exactly why I created the Ember Protocol, because I do not want to meet people for the first time after they have been hacked. I would rather help them prevent the problem in the first place. The Ember Protocol is designed to help individuals, businesses, and organizations identify vulnerabilities before cyber criminals do, strengthen their digital defenses, and lead them to confidently navigate today's online frontier. So let me ask you one final question. If we performed a security audit on your online presence today, would you pass? If your answer is not sure, you are not alone. 75% of businesses out there have no protocols in place. That is exactly where we begin. I invite you to schedule a complimentary Ace in the Hole strategy consultation. Together, we will evaluate your current digital footprint, identify your biggest vulnerabilities, and create a small action plan to help protect you, your family, your business, and everything you work so hard to build. As I round up this herd of information, I have one final thought, and then we can open it up for questions. Feel free to use the chat or get ready to unmute yourself. My final thought is this. On today's online frontier, the goal is not to outrun the outlaws. It is to make sure the outlaws run right past your campfire. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, I'm going to take the lead, hon. Thank you for all of that. Yeah, we're all business people, and we have several people here that are dealing with multiple people. I look at Ken and Todd and Julia. What type of thought process should all we have? Where well, our information is very important, and we don't want something to happen to us. How do we go about protecting our client base with the information that we have on so many other people?
That's where it's important to have a strong group of people with a base protocol in place, a incident response plan, a readiness plan, a contact list of if something occurs, who do I contact? If something looks weird, who do I contact? A chain of custody for said information so that everybody stays connected.
Okay, so when you're talking about a chain of command, I think of I call point A and they're taking care of it, but if they're busy, they have a team in place. Is that what you're saying to me? Help me understand.
You, in this case, chain of command means that, okay, I, for example, have an email that looks shady. I have a form that I can pick up, look at, and go, okay, for shady stuff, my supervisor is this person, I need to notify them. And then the next person on the list is normally going to be your IT person. You notify them, then you immediately screenshot your screen so that they have things, and you don't necessarily shut down your device, but you do nothing further on the device except for monitor what's going on and document.
So, if I hear you right, you're saying it's something in the device, not something that they're connecting to through the internet. Yeah, I get, my concern if I'm using my computer and I notice something, is it in my computer or is it if I go to my phone and I'm using the same email address, the same Wi-Fi connection, is it going to be in all my devices? And then if I'm dealing with Sony and I just sent her a letter after this came in, is it now on her device? Am I misunderstanding how this can spread? Is it, kind of like the Terminator and every computer in the world has the same information once it's connected?
It's not quite that bad. It does have the potential to go from one device to another because once they have breached your network, anything within your network can be vulnerable. It does not necessarily automatically mean that if you are working with Sonia that something would occur. However, if you send an infected email not knowing to her, she opens the email, then she has the potential that she could be infected by that on that device. And then whatever device is on her network, then that person would have the ability to access if they had the knowledge and skills.
Okay. Let's open it up for other questions. We're all, you know, very similar in that we're building businesses. You know, one of my thoughts is that we're all trying to do the social media thing. That's how we stay visible. And I don't know how any of us can eliminate all of our social media when that's a big part of our presence and who we are and what we're trying to do within our business. What other questions do we have out there?
Just one moment, Mac. There are things, as we learned today, that you can do. I mean, social media is not going away. The internet's not going away. We just have to better utilize how and be aware and conscious that not everything and everyone on social media is out for your best interest.
Okay. Dan.
Yes. So an observation that I think points Mac to your question. I was talking to another cybersecurity coach along the way, and he reminded me that, we need to back up our computers all the time, but we also need to have an air gap. In other words, I used to just have the backup plugged into the computer all the time. Well, if you get hacked, then the hacker gets everything. But if you do your, weekly backup or whatever, and then when it's complete, then unplug it. And that way, if you're hacked, then you can always go back and you've got your pristine backup. So, just a thought, not to step on any toes, Maggie, but as you know, the cybersecurity world is just huge and amorphous and continues to grow and expand. So, um, that's my nugget for the day.
Thank you
I
for
think
that.
that's real important. I've not heard the term air gap. Maggie or some of the others that are involved in cyber, is that a common term? Do we all know what that means?
Oh, I'm not actually I'm familiar with what he's talking about, not necessarily what he's calling it.
Okay. Well, and we all do that. Jargon is, we all have our own language. And that's why I was wondering if that was a common term or if there was another term that we might refer to it. I know that a few weeks ago I had an issue and um, I ended up having to take the computer down to Apple. They had to take everything off, and I hadn't backed up in a week or so, and I'm still trying to get things loaded back up that I thought would, when they just reloaded the computer, everything would come back as it was, and it's been a challenge. My buddy Todd's been very patient with me on some of the stuff that I've been going through with Password Keeper and banks and credit cards, and it becomes an emergency at 9 o'clock at night when I'm trying to pay my bill that's due at 10 o'clock at night. Um, so I really try to understand this. Uh, Todd, why don't you jump in? I see your hand up, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, and thanks, Maggie. I was wondering, you mentioned I think it was like a vulnerability check or cybersecurity vulnerability check, and I was curious about what that looks like for someone if they want to do that.
If someone wanted to do that, they would first get on a strategy call with me. Then we would go through a checklist looking at different aspects of their system. I also have a Dragon Guard series of products that can aid in additional resources to them. But essentially, what it would look like would be going in, seeing what's on their network, seeing what assets they have that would be of importance, see what do port scans, uh, you would do, what start with what system they're on, what OS they're on, what networks they're on, what ports are open, and it just gets in depth from there.
Nice. And then, is that something that you always do in person, or is it something someone could do with you remotely as well?
I offer both in person and remotely. Most of what I do is remotely.
Well, that's kind of the world we're in these days. As I've come to say, Zoom or video meetings is the only thing good that came out of COVID. Um, my Irish grandmother who came over on the boat from Ireland in the late 1800s wouldn't understand these George Jetson phone calls we're all doing. But it's the closest thing to sitting in somebody's office and drinking their coffee that we can get to. And it opens up a lot of avenues, literally all over the world. And that um, I'm always amazed, and that's why I was so when Dan was said he was an evergreen. I think I think your phone number is what, Southern California, if I remember correctly. And
Yes.
so that's, I always look at a phone number, and we all know nobody changes their cell phones when they move anymore. But that's like the first thing. And I guess that makes me a reverse hacker because I'm trying to gather information before I talk to somebody. And then who are they? Where are they actually at? It's I I had and I still have accounts over in Africa, and I learned 234 is the area code for Nigeria, and that so I question it when I see it. So
Know
uh,
any Nigerian princes?
well, we've all gotten that letter. I'm still waiting for the check. So, but uh, Sonia, that guy you hang around with, Chuck, he's a cybersecurity specialist, also, isn't he?
Yes, yes, he's got a best-selling book
I
on
I,
it.
I thought because you guys did a conference or a workshop a couple weeks ago. He recently came out with a book. So
yeah,
in
Chuck,
my, I see so many of
yeah,
these different things, trying to put them back in where they actually fit. Sometimes it's difficult at this old age to remember who I'm thinking of.
yeah,
Uh,
Chuck did come up with, he came out with the book, Safe AI Best Practices and Awareness on Amazon. And then if you follow Chuck on his Facebook and YouTube, he puts Chuck and AI Al's cyber, tips on things that you can do, like a lot of things Maggie's talking about, how you can protect yourself from all this stuff that's happening on the internet, and with the what you call them, the villains, of the wild frontier. There's a lot of them out there, and all these bots too. You don't know if you're actually talking to a human being or if you're talking to a
yeah.
bot, and so that really fools you. And
And it's
And I think AI and cyber may be the top trending subjects that any of us see anymore. There's always somebody different. Is there, and I would assume that there is, but I hate the word assume. Is there groups of people where open discussions like this can happen with professionals like Maggie and Chuck and Todd and some of the other people that we know that are doing these types of things, and all of us that just want a little more familiarity. I think we don't. I'm never hesitant about asking questions, but a lot of us don't want to ask questions. We don't want to look dumb. Is there such a thing as a group that somebody could participate in and listen to the experts talk so that we could become a little bit more educated? And
well,
Maggie,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Matt.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Oh, I was gonna say, Chuck and I are working on a virtual AI business summit, and Ruth's going to be in that, and a couple other people. So when we get that um, ready to go, maybe next month or in October, we'll definitely we could create a group with Achieve, to talk about best practices so all of us can stay in the know because there's so much changing really fast.
Yeah.
But I
I
know
think that'd be great to have those of us that are not bashful about asking questions,
Mhm.
and then having the a panel, for lack of a better word, that we could actually hear the back and forth.
Yeah,
Because
that's a
I'm
great idea.
sure that you guys that are doing this every day, and that if I'm an expert in something, I can say something about sales, or I can say something about veterans, and then, we can have 10 other people sit there and say exactly the opposite, that I'm wrong, but not without being confrontational, but with being dialogue. Yeah, not so that people can form their own opinion. What do I have to do? Do I need to spend $50 a month? Do I need to spend $1,000 a month? And people say, well, I can't afford $1,000 a month. Well, you can't afford to have $20,000 taken out of your account either. You better do something. And I don't know that enough people talk that bluntly about what a serious subject this actually is. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I do see that Ken has a question.
no, I did not, because his background is almost the same color as his hand. Ken,
I I should probably just change the background or maybe the
or,
color of my
you know,
hat.
make the hand flashing red.
Wish I could do that. But yeah, thank you, Maggie. So before I jump into my question, there's actually like a networking group every other Tuesdays that talks about technology, AI, cybersecurity as well. I believe it's being hosted by Carlos. The networking group is Technology Partners Business Networking. So if Maggie, if you would want, I can also invite you there. I think they
Yes,
meet
please.
around after this. Yeah, for sure. And so,
Things I think a lot of people would like to look at it.
right. Now for my question, hold on, let me try to remember that. Oh yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Um, so Maggie, I do understand, and prevention is always better than cure, right? But just to say, for example, if an employee of mine or someone accidentally clicks on a suspicious link, and at what point, I mean, at that point, are there still like things that we can do immediately to contain the issue and prevent further damage? Are there any recommendations you could provide? And also, as a business owner, do you recommend like getting cyber insurance? And at what point do you feel it becomes necessary for a small business?
Well, the biggest one, let's start with the last question. Cyber insurance is important because if you have a breach, it is a very expensive situation depending upon the extent of the damages. In the example you gave of an email, the best thing to do is to isolate that computer, if possible, get it off of the network. There's also a lot of other things that go into that. If you could jump on a call with me, I'd be happy to go into more detail. Unfortunately, trying to explain that in the short amount of time, there's not enough hours in this mastermind. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Yeah, I'll schedule something in your calendar.
Well, I think that's what we're all trying to understand, and how do we make these connections? And um, as we have questions for anybody, if we get on a call, then when they get to know us, we get to know them, and then we're able to refer people, to them just because we like them, not because we know that there's an answer that we can do business immediately, but once you enjoy somebody's being on your path, then you start thinking about them more often and say, "Oh, I know a guy. I know this gal that does this stuff. You should talk to her." And that's I would highly encourage everybody get in touch with the different individuals here, and um, anybody that's watching this as a recording afterwards, reach out to me. Remember the person's name. I can connect you with a three-way text message. Any other comments, questions? I don't see any hands. Up, Sonia.
Sorry, my dog. Keela, move.
Oh, I
I
closed the door so the cats won't get in.
yeah, it's thundering. It started to thunder here, and she's scared. But I just want to, before you wrap it up, I just wanted to, tell everybody that if you are here next week, I'll be your featured speaker, and I want you all to think about if you were to write a book about your expertise, your business, what you have created, what would that book title be? Because next week I want to talk about your story, your legacy, and your expertise, and how I can help you get jump started on writing your own book. I have had a wonderful coach that I was part of her group for a couple of years, Shelly Jorgensen. She was at our Achieve conference this last June, and how she created $1 million with her Facebook group and her community. And I was one of those in her community. And her and her partner taught me a wonderful system. And now I've already implemented her system before, but I'm vitalizing it for the Achieve book publishers group. And we're going to have an AI author lab live Zoom mastermind meeting starting on Mondays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But I'll tell you more about that next week. But I just want you guys to know that we all have so much knowledge, expertise, and experience in life. And if we can share some of that with the world, let's do it together. And so that's kind of what I wanted to, bring to your attention today. And I'd love to get your feedback on what you're thinking.
Well, I'm really excited about you and Chuck taking over that division. Now I saw Chuck's name on the university for the 27th and 28th. I did not see your name. Are you staying at home? And
Well, our move date for our house got moved, so he may not be at university either. So Phyllis will probably be our proxy banker announcement for our book, because we do have an Achieve member book compilation that we're trying to put together to get members to share their story. And so if you wouldn't mind, Mac, maybe you can help Phyllis. I can send you information, help make that announcement. But we'll be at the Achieve conference. And we're going to do probably try to do a short video so they can play that in university, so that way people have more information. But yeah, we're so excited to have this opportunity, and would love to help everyone else on our journey.
I'm excited about the people that are going to be there at university. I mean, it is all AA, personalities that are coming in as attendees, not those of us that are leaders and alphas and stuff. I mean, we took on that new group, the Tribe. Tim Zeman's coming in. Wes and Daryl are coming in from Midas Financial from Scottsdale. Is it Jurgensen, the gal that
Jelly Jorgensen.
Yeah, I
from
see
Idaho
coming in. It's like, holy crap, they're going to let me in the same room. I feel special. So that's the 27th and 28th for people listening on the recording. We allow members of Achieve Systems one time at no charge to attend university, which is a smaller group. It's 50 to 60 people, not counting the leadership that comes in from all over the world, literally. And it's a concentration of 2 days in that business knowledge, and but there's the time to mingle and get to know the other individuals within the class. I mean, I've been doing, meetups and trainings and stuff for over 50 years. I worked with Zig Ziglar. I worked with John Maxwell, and I have a list of who's who that I've worked with as long as my arm. And the Achieve University that Rob and Vanessa and some of the other leaders have put together is one of the best events that I've ever attended for concentration of getting value out of the time spent. That's one of the toughest issues that we all go through. We want to go to these different events, and then there's no value in that. And Achieve University is just the opposite. You'll get value times 10. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to, we're up against the hour. Maggie, you did a great job. We got to catch up. Dan, I'm right around the corner, buddy. I'm going to send you some more information about the group. I will say that uh, uh, Dan also is a prepaid legal advisor and business associate. For those of you that either need more business protection or you don't understand that prepaid legal, in my mind, is the best thing that I've ever purchased. I have had it since 1983. I've only not beaten one ticket in my entire life. And that's because the judge wanted me to give $1,000 to his favorite charity. And I thought the $300 ticket was more intelligent. But reach out to Dan and make him feel welcome. And now we have 2 people in Evergreen that you can come up and visit. So, all
Thanks,
right.
Jack.
Yep. Did you get your information in the chat, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, real good. Save the chat, everyone. Look forward to seeing you next week. And you know where I'm at. Reach out.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Good
Bye.
to see everybody.
Enjoy,
I think you did
enjoy the
great.
new home.
Thanks.